Welcome to the first podcast of 2018 for A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. I'm Kellie Raspberry Evans.
Hello, I'm Alan.
And we're so excited to be back. We had a little Christmas break.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. We took a couple weeks off. We skipped a podcast. Sorry. We always promise you.
We did skip one, yeah.
Yeah, we always promise you a fresh sandwich and some lovin' every week. And, well, we broke our promise. So
I was
we're not
sad
going to let that
that
happen
we skipped
again.
one. I was sad that we skipped one, but we had a good reason.
We were out of town.
We were out of town.
We were in New York City. We did not plan ahead, and it was just a chaotic time. But we're back.
We're back, and
We're still married.
we're still married. First podcast of the year. This is exciting, babe, and we've got so much cool stuff to talk about.
A lot to
I
get
mean,
to.
this is chock full.
The problem is...
I don't think we're going to get through it.
Yeah,
all.
that's it.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think
too
we're gonna
much,
get through
so
it all.
we might have to do a two-parter. We might have to start part one of our first podcast and finish the rest of it next week.
Yeah.
I think people don't need an explanation as to what a two-parter is.
But you
yeah,
just gave him one.
I tried.
Yeah.
I'm filling time, babe. Just filling time.
Well, you don't have to fill time because we've got relevant content. We've got great stories. We've got funny stories.
Yes.
We've got heartwarming stories.
We do?
Sure. We've got stories about how you discovered things about me you didn't know.
I always do. You know, we
Yeah.
did get, a lot of people say maybe we got married a little too quickly. I don't
Some
say
people
that.
some people have said
do.
that. Some people have said that.
We met, and within a year and a few weeks, we were engaged, and within 18 months, we were married.
Some people have predicted our demise.
Who?
Well,
Ugly, mean people in chat rooms?
they'll remain
Do
nameless.
they still have
but,
chat rooms?
But they have predicted our demise.
Well, that's unfortunate. Hi, Meredith Land.
Meredith. All right, Meredith's on.
Sorry, we're doing
Yeah.
Facebook Live while we're recording,
All
and so
right,
a
that's
celebrity
awesome.
just joined us, so we had to say hello.
Um,
we broke down the third wall. Sorry, or is it the fourth wall? I forget. I'm not an actor. I'm all flustered
What is
now.
that?
I don't
Why are
know.
you flustered?
I don't know. Okay, so
Why are you
anyway, I'm
flustered?
not looking at any more comments because it distracts me. So we had our first Christmas as a married couple. It was our second Christmas together. First one as a married couple, and celebrating as a family with your parents, my parents. It was crazy stuff. The kids had way too much Christmas.
You know who gets a lot of Christmases?
The kids.
They've got.
It's obscene.
Well, okay, so Kelly and I are both divorced, so there are other families that they see around Christmas or on Christmas. So they do those Christmases over there. I think they had Christmases, at least my kids did, had Christmases with their mother and then also their other grandparents.
Right.
Then they had a Christmas with us.
Well, they had a Christmas with.
They had a Christmas as children together.
Then they had their step parents so they went to their step parents' family with that grandparents.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And
so
then
you forgot that.
Sure.
And the same thing on our side. The kids had my family, your family. It's just crazy.
I think they had about 7 Christmases.
It was a lot.
Yeah. And I felt for them because you could tell they were tired.
Yeah, you think it's not possible for a kid to get too much Christmas? We proved.
I think
it
they
is
had
possible.
too much. I think they had too much.
We're gonna
Christmas,
have to change that up next year.
Yeah, but I think everyone had a pretty good time.
I had a good time. I know you had a good time because for quite some time, Alan has been dropping major hints and flat out begging for an iPhone X.
Well, I don't know that I've been begging for
Yeah,
an iPhone X.
yeah.
You asked, why is?
And I had to keep that whole ruse
did-
like, well, you're not getting one. You're not getting one because
Never begged
I
for an
don't
iPhone
believe-
X.
I don't believe in getting a new phone until your old one wears out completely. And so at first, Alan didn't want. Here's a little peek behind the curtain. Alan didn't want an iPhone X. He wanted the 8. So the very day I went to the mall, and bought him the 8, wrapped it, put it under the tree. He comes home after lunch with Boss Man George and
Hey, man.
says, I changed my mind. I want an iPhone X.
Hey, man. Because I had lunch with Boss Man George, and Boss Man George, I told him this exact story. I said, hey, I'm asking for a new phone for Christmas. What do you think? I really like that 8. I went and checked it out at the Apple Store. It's got this portrait mode, and I like the 8 Plus because it's big. I have a 6 Plus. He's like, hey, man, no way. You need this iPhone X. Here, check this out. So I held his iPhone X. I'm like, oh, my gosh, this
And
thing
the fact
is
that George had
cool.
one.
Well, yeah.
Your man crush.
The man had the iPhone X, and then you can do those what are they called? Animojis.
Oh, gosh. These talking animal heads.
So Kelly, I'll send her these animojis, and she totally lays out on me. Like I'll do some really funny stuff with an animoji.
out?
Like, yeah, you do. You don't say, hey, that was funny, or I like that, or nothing. It's just chirp,
You
chirp.
send them, okay, you
chirp,
send them in,
chirp.
okay, you send them in group chat to your whole family. So I don't feel like I need to comment on group chat. That's just me. So anyway, he comes home after I buy the iPhone 8 Plus. It was wrapped under the tree. He says, I changed my mind on a 10. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I had to go back to the Apple store. I unwrapped it to make sure they had an X in stock. I unwrapped it literally on the counter with my little Genius, whatever they're called there. Are they called Geniuses? Yes.
They used to. I don't know if they still are. Yeah.
And then I rewrapped it right back in the store and brought it back home and put the X under the tree. And you were very happy with that.
Oh, I was very happy with it. Well, why don't you tell everybody what you got? Because you had your list was not short.
Well, what happened was...
And I'll tell you what, she got everything on her list. Everything.
The thing is I'm a very practical person as well. And so when Alan started asking me for a list of things, I assumed he was sharing this list with my in-laws, with people who were asking, what does Kelly want? I don't know what to get her. So I literally went down the list of things I need. I needed dry shampoo. I wanted to try this new Oribe texturizing spray, which is expensive, and I am cheap sometimes, and I didn't want to spend the money on it. So I said, I want this Oribe texturizing spray.
I think I screwed that up, though.
No, you screwed up the dry shampoo.
Oh.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm not mad at you.
What did I get? Regular shampoo?
I wanted to try this.
It's Amazon's fault.
It's I can't remember the name of it now, but there was this dry shampoo
Meredith liked
that everybody, what?
Meredith liked that one.
Oh, yeah.
Dry shampoo.
It was this dry shampoo that this Living with Landon girl I follow on Instagram, she was promoting, and she may or may not have been paid to do it. I don't know, but it was effective because she is an influencer.
Yes.
And so I wanted this dry shampoo, and Alan accidentally got me just the shampoo.
I got corn fused. I got corn fused when I was in my my shopping cart on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm not mad. And then there was this book that I saw on Amazon and that I almost bought for myself, and I said, no, I'm not going to buy it because somebody might ask what I want. I try to be thoughtful like that and say, because people need ideas, right? So
you got a long list, so why don't you tell everybody the rest of what was on your list?
What else did you get? Book called The Last Lecture.
Uh-huh.
And then I told Alan I'd like some new silver hoop earrings and some gold hoop earrings because mine were getting kind of tarnished because they're not the real thing. And
bedroom shoes?
I didn't say I wanted bedroom shoes.
You said you wanted bedroom shoes, remember? Because I asked you, what's the difference between a bedroom shoe and a slipper? And you told me that you use the term bedroom shoes, and that encompasses slippers. I was
wondering why you asked me that.
Moccasins, bedroom shoes.
But I thought you were asking for you. I never said I wanted bedroom shoes.
I'll pull up the list right now.
Did I really?
Yeah, that's why I got you. I got Kelly some.
I don't remember saying that, but that's okay because I was just giving you ideas for people to get for me.
No. I got Kelly some UGG slippers, UGG UGG slippers, and because I have a pair of UGG slippers for men, I really love them. But then I got Kelly the right size, but she said they didn't fit right, so we have to return those.
I have a high instep, and I tried wearing them around the house all day, and they were just killing my foot. And I kept thinking, well, maybe I can break them in, but why should you have to break in bedroom shoes? So
yeah, you shouldn't have to break in bedroom shoes. So.
And then but a thing that wasn't on my list is you just remembered me saying I need a silver clutch. And you remembered that I said that.
Oh, yeah.
And you got me a silver clutch, which
that.
I thought was really awesome because that just showed that you paid attention to something I said.
It's a Diane von Furstenberg.
How did you know to even look at that?
I just looked up silver clutch, and I just looked at a bunch of different ones, and that's the one I liked the most.
You did good, babe. It has a touch of gold on it, too, so you did really good. I'm very happy with my Christmas.
Thank you, babe.
And I haven't brought up that shampoo screw up at all. You feel bad about that and keep bringing it up.
Well... I don't like to get you something, and then you're like,
fine.
well,
I'll use it.
This isn't like that would be like me opening my iPhone and you got me an
8.
Yeah, an 8. I'd be like, well, thanks, babe. This is awesome. I'd roll with it, but
no, you would have taken it back.
I'd have taken it back probably.
So anyway, that's what and then you got some other like little. Oh, I got you. I thought you'd be much more impressed with what I got you. I got him an owl for our patio.
That wasn't for me.
That was for you because you're the one having to clean all the bird poop off the patio furniture.
If any of you, probably some of you who live maybe in the country or not even in the country, in some of the suburbs where there's lots of birds and they come in under our pergola in the backyard and then they crap all over
I've never seen
our outdoor.
Like it.
It's like there's freaking ostriches rolling in here and perching up on these chairs.
And they don't hit
pooping.
The ground. It's not on the ground. It's only on these chairs.
What kind of birds are those?
I don't know. And it's awful. So I thought it would be we kind of joke we need to get one of those owls. I was like, I'm gonna get
So,
Alan.
yeah.
I got Alan and Al for the patio.
She got me one of those plastic owls
Its
that
head turns.
yeah,
in the
it's
wind.
real creepy because the eyes are always open and it like does this thing. It's goes back
You
and
weren't that
forth.
impressed by that. I thought it was cute.
Well, I put it out there, but anyhow, yeah, I got an owl. What else did I get?
You got flashlights because he was
Oh,
complaining
yeah.
over the holidays. We had a few incidents where
No, okay. Here's the deal. Let's
needed
go.
flashlights.
Well, I'm stuck behind the dryer, cleaning
Mm-hmm.
the dryer vent out, and I say, "Hey, babe, can you get me my flashlight?" So she goes out and where'd you go looking for this thing? Oh,
the toolbox.
yeah. I said it should be in my toolbox because that's where it always is. Goes out there, no flashlight.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I always put it there.
Well, I had used it earlier to check one of our children's throats who had a sore throat, and I left it on the ottoman, and one of the kids took it, and it was just gone. And nobody's ever fessed up
No
to
one
it,
won't
even
fess
though
up.
we do know who we
Oh.
have surmised. We know who took it.
Yeah.
But that kid lied to our faces.
Oh, that guy, he could be a U.S. spy because if he ever goes under interrogation,
He ain't cracking.
he ain't giving up nothing.
He ain't cracking.
No,
So,
and that would be the
Dylan,
the Dilly master,
the young one that
the
gets
Dilly
everybody's
bar.
he's so cute. Look at his little dimples. He,
Yeah,
he
he's
lies
a-
to your face.
Well, he
takes
got
something.
in big
He
trouble
got in
for
big
that.
trouble.
So
And he still, even after he got in trouble, he swears he didn't do
he
it.
still swears he didn't do it. He's convinced
anyway.
himself he didn't take my
Yeah.
my flashlight. So anyhow, Kelly
you a
got
lot of
me.
flashlights.
She got me a mag light. Now I don't know, if our listeners know what a mag light is, but it is like the Cadillac of flashlights.
Because you told me you used to
Yeah.
have one and you didn't know what happened to it.
Well,
so I got you that, and I
my-
got you the little baby one too.
Yeah. Well, my kids took my first mag light to school
kids.
for a project, and
Those
then I
kids.
never got it back.
Okay,
So,
there you go. So
yeah.
you got flashlights, you got an owl.
I got an iPhone X.
iPhone X. I can't remember all the
A
little
cow.
stuff
You got me a cowboy shirt. You got me a lot of nice
You
stuff.
needed a
Very
Cowboys
generous.
pullover.
Very, very
yeah,
generous.
anything. I try to pay attention to what you say. I try not to ask what you want. I try to pay attention to what you say.
Yeah. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome. We had a good Christmas though.
So before we get too much further into things, let's hear from sponsor number one.
Yeah, this is a big one, guys.
No, we're just gonna just pitch a sandwich and some love in our
Pitching it.
podcast. Just real quick before we start talking about some of the other things we want to talk about. But just remember, you can follow us on Instagram. We have an Instagram account for A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. We have a Facebook page for A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. And the reason we keep wanting people to do this is because as we grow the podcast over time, we're going to have more contests and we're going to have stuff to give away and we're going to have some promotions going on. For example, one of our podcast listeners, her name's Jennifer Kalanick, and I met her and her husband at our New Year's Eve party that Kelly was hosting. And they followed us on Instagram and participated in a program for ticket giveaways
Yeah.
for that party.
Contest.
It was a picture contest on Instagram. They won free tickets, open bar, food, hotel room if they wanted it. And we talked to Jennifer and her husband. Beautiful, nice couple, and they had a great time.
Yeah.
So
we want to do more stuff like
we
that.
want to do more stuff like that. So follow us and let's grow this family bigger.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
And then also, in addition to A Sandwich and Some Lovin', we have the website that we've been updating. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little bit,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, we will. So that's kind of
That's sponsor number one.
that was
is us.
that was sponsor number one is us. So that was our holiday recap, I guess. I mean, it's
That
pretty.
was a Christmas recap. That's not
Christmas
our holiday recap because
You
we
want to
also...
go into New Year's Eve, or do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk about New Year's Eve. Yeah, because we mentioned
Well,
it.
we went to New York before New Year's Eve. You're going to go in order?
Yeah, that's true. Let's talk about New York. Why did we go to New York?
Well, we didn't have the kids this year for the actual Christmas break because of divorce, it wasn't our year. So we were kid free. And a friend of ours named Patrick Sowers, he has an organization called Operation Once in a Lifetime that grants wishes to members of the military. Wonderful organization. Look it up on Facebook and online. And there's so many needs that aren't being met. We let our soldiers down in a lot of ways. And it's just sad, when 22 of our military members are taking their own lives every day because they've run out of hope and they feel they have no other choices. That's sad. So Operation Once in a Lifetime, if you'd like to get involved. Okay, so that's that. But Patrick invited us to go to New York City with him. It was a couple weeks before Christmas.
It was a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, he said there was a 99% chance that Operation Once in a Lifetime would be ringing the opening bell for NASDAQ. And when that happens, you get to go do this, the whole studio tour. You get your picture up in Times Square. 99% chance this was going to happen between the 27th and the 29th of December. So Alan and I are like, well, we don't have the kids. New York would be great at Christmas time. So we booked our flight for the 26th through the 30th. Nice little bookend trip. So we were covered no matter when the bell ringing took place. We didn't know at the time it was going to be 0 degrees in New York City the whole time we were there. And we didn't find out until after we got to New York City that the bell ringing wasn't going to happen. But Patrick felt really bad about that because, not only us, but some other friends had made the trip up there, that he just started emailing and calling, and he got hold of someone pretty high up she was a wonderful woman, and she was a veteran. And she said, I don't know how this got so screwed up. This shouldn't have happened, but what we're going to do is we're going to let you do everything you would have done minus actually ringing the bell because they already had a commitment there. So we got to do the tour of NASDAQ, the little offices there. It's not the one that you see with all the traders yelling on the floor. That's a different one.
That's the New York Stock Exchange.
That's different.
That's on Wall Street.
Right.
This was in Midtown.
This is in Times Square.
Yeah.
And so they have a studio set up, and all the cameras from like CNN and Headline News, all this stuff was set up around so you could see where the people were ringing the bell. They were on national TV. And then we went out, and then we got our pictures taken behind the podium. It was a lot of fun stuff like that.
Basically everything except ringing the bell. Yeah.
And then we went outside. It was so cold. But we stood there and watched our pictures flash up in Times Square for about an hour, roughly. They were rotating. So that was really cool.
It was really cool. And it was weird because we posted these pictures, and almost immediately there were one or two people that said, oh, that's fake.
Well, there's apps for that.
There are apps that you can use to do that.
Why would y'all be on? And this one guy, why would y'all be on in New York City?
Yeah.
It's not like they're clamoring to hear a sandwich and some lovin'.
Yeah.
I was like, well, maybe they are clamoring, some of those New York City people.
Thanks,
who knows?
Thanks, Chief.
But then it wasn't anything to do with us. It was Operation Once in a Lifetime. We were just fortunate to be benefactors of Patrick's generosity.
We were benefactors.
You can see that on our social media.
Yeah, that was fun. We also we went to the Met.
That was the very first thing Alan wanted to do.
That's the abbreviation, I think, for the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Yeah, every year they have the big Met Gala, however you want to pronounce it, where all the celebrities get dressed up in these fabulous, really artistic dresses, and, Beyonce and Kim Kardashian, the big scandal, she finally got invited, people like that. So we climbed those very steps. We weren't dressed exactly
I didn't
the same.
realize that until you...
That's what that is.
You mentioned that this morning. I was like, oh, okay. But I bought tickets ahead of time. So Kelly and I had tickets, but we walked from our hotel, which was on 54th North, past Central Park, all the way up to the Met, which was and it was up on 81st. So it's about 30 blocks.
About a mile and a half or so.
Yeah.
In nice weather, it would have been one thing, but it was freezing. But we did it. It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. We just walked fast, and we were bundled up. But when we
got there, the line was wrapped around the building.
Around the building, and we're like...
For our lines, the pre-tickets, and we were like, what in the world? And the guy said, it'll take you 15 minutes. And shockingly enough, it took us 15 minutes.
It was quick. So, gosh, we could spend hours talking about what we saw, but, I mean, there is every type of art, whether it's a sculpture or ancient artifacts, ancient art,
the armor,
modern art, everything.
The armor was really, really interesting. The suits of armor and the way they used to joust and do battle. They have all these weapons there, and it's like, man, this stuff really existed. It's there. But I didn't know until we were in New York City that you were such a big fan of Van Gogh.
I love Van Gogh. And in fact, we're sitting here broadcasting from the Mini Man Room.
There's a Van Gogh. I had no idea that was a Van Gogh.
That's a Van Gogh. That's not a real Van Gogh, obviously.
Yeah, right.
But, that's called the Night Cafe.
I had no idea that was his.
And I used to have that I used to have a pool room in a prior life. And that was hanging in my billiards hall is the fancy way of saying that. But yeah, I love Van Gogh. My mom had lots of Van Goghs hanging around the house.
Lots of Prince.
Yeah, Prince when I was a kid.
We ain't rich like that.
No, we were definitely not rich like that. But she had sunflowers, Starry Night, irises, and a couple of others. The Night Cafe. No, that's the Night Cafe.
Yeah, and you posted a bunch of the ones we saw because there were several Van Goghs.
Oh
there
man, they're just beautiful.
He posted them on his social media if you want to go see the ones Alan really loves. But that was something I didn't know about you. Something new I discovered. that you were a huge Van Gogh fan.
I mean,
always learning new things.
Well, like I said, I don't know much about art, but I do.
You know what you like.
I like Van Gogh.
And we saw one weird Picasso.
What was your favorite? Yeah, we saw
I love
Picasso.
the Van Gogh. I think the Van Gogh was, out of all the art we saw, we learned a little bit about Baroque art.
Baroque. Yeah, I didn't know. That's interesting. Tell everybody what that
Baroque
means.
art is
that was
just
cool.
over like dramatic. Like when there was one painting we saw where some ruler ordered his soldiers to go in and take all the women.
Oh, yeah.
And they were going to bring all the women back to their camp because they needed to multiply. And so there was a scene where all the women were being snatched from the men, and the women were all, and everything was like real, the clutched bosoms and lots of nudity in that kind of art. But, like the nipple exposed and
they're all
stuff.
very, what's the word?
Dramatic.
Well, dramatic, but
robust.
Rubenesque.
Very Rubenesque. In
yes.
fact, there was a statue that was a headless arm. Was it she armless? Or she was headless, I know, and she was in the food court area. And Alan
beautiful,
said, babe.
Beautiful statue.
And she was a little Rubenesque. And Alan said, babe.
No, she wasn't Rubenesque.
It didn't offend me at all. I was like, I hope I look. You said, that's your body right there. And I was like,
well,
I love that because I was like, my body is a work of art.
Well, it was,
except for the butt.
It was smooth.
It was smooth and creamy and white.
It was creamy. It was curvy.
And I was like, I liked that. You thought I was going to be offended. No, I loved it.
I was like,
until we got to the around the back and saw the butt was.
We went around the back and the butt was like.
Butt.
I mean, that was like...
She had a curve to her butt.
You could have bounced a dime off that butt.
Nothing going on my butt. By the way, you also got me a kettlebell for Christmas, so I'm going to start working on
Kelly
my butt.
asked for that. I didn't just get her a kettlebell to say, hey, work on this.
You heard me say,
she
I need to get a kettlebell.
Yes.
I need to get a kettlebell. I want one. My trainer that I used to work out with said, get a 20-pound one to work out with at home. I just mentioned it to you, and you went and did it.
Yes.
So there you go.
So,
that was our day at the Met.
In a nutshell, that was the Met. We went to Little Italy.
On the way to the Met, though, we got to pass all the store windows, which they're known for in New York over Christmas. I forgot about that. They had Bloomingdale's. They did their whole thing about the Greatest Show on Earth, that new movie with Hugh Jackman. So all the window displays were based on
Jackman.
Stop it. They were all based on that. And then I forget, was it Saks Fifth Avenue that had the Snow White windows?
Yeah, Saks Fifth Avenue. We saw Tiffany.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Tiffany and Company had the beautiful, the
Snow White movies, all the windows, all the designers just dedicated a window to scenes from Snow White with fashion, and then they had the windows with the actual Disney characters. It was beautiful. That was fun. We passed right by Rockefeller Center. We saw the tree, but we really couldn't get to it. That time of year, man.
It was so crowded.
If you wanted to, if your fantasy is to ice skate in Rockefeller Center over Christmas, good luck.
Forget about it.
Good luck. It was crowded, and it was just so cold. But another thing you really wanted to do, in addition to the Met, was go to this Jewish deli.
Yeah.
The 2nd Street, is it 2nd Avenue or 2nd Street?
2nd Avenue.
2nd Avenue Deli, which is actually on 3rd.
Yeah, and I knew of this place. Well, I do know why. I knew of this place because I had gone to New York on business several years in a row for the last, 10 years or something. And we always ate at this 2nd Avenue Deli, and I wanted to take Kelly there. It's like you would never find it. You have to kind of know where it is because it's actually on 33rd and 3rd, but it's called 2nd Avenue Deli. So it's like this hole-in-the-wall place. It wasn't very nice from the outside, was it?
Yeah, and it was long and narrow. You walk in, it's just this big, long deli counter, but then the seats are all in the back.
But it is as authentic as all get out.
And everybody was so nice there. And Alan told me, he said, okay, you're going to meet one of the owners.
Yeah, I knew this would happen.
You tell me exactly. You said, he's going to say,
you're beautiful. What are you doing with this schmuck? Oh, but he's kind of handsome, but hey, you're prettier than he is. And he did that whole bit.
The whole bit. And apparently he does this for everyone. And he reminds me a lot of Woody Allen. Now, you know how I feel about Woody Allen. He's a pervert. I don't know why anybody in Hollywood continues to work with him, especially in light. He is, especially in light of everybody taking every woman's word for what happened to them, but they won't take the word of his own daughter. He won't even take the word of his own daughter and son who say, this is what this man did to me. And the brother that says, I believe my sister, and people still work with him.
We know
everybody else's word they'll take for it except Woody Allen's. I'm just, okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to regroup. But this owner is just like Woody Allen, and the way his delivery is like, oh, you're so nice, you're so pretty. And he went to kiss my hand, and he kissed his instead because he ain't no pervert like Woody Allen. But anyway, that was fun. And then our waiter, Alan, tried to order. I
always got salami sandwiches.
The man said no.
And
said, "You're not ordering
he's
that."
like, no, don't do that. You want to order a pastrami? You're in a Jewish deli. And I'm like, really? I always get salami. He says,
like,
no. We're known for our pastrami. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll take your word for it. This pastrami, it melted in your mouth.
It was so good.
It was so flavorful and tender. It was the best sandwich I've ever had. Every time I go there, I say it's the best sandwich I've ever had.
I got the matzo ball soup. We split that because if you ever eat matzo ball soup, you eat it and it just swells up in your belly. So we split that. I couldn't decide between the egg salad and the chicken salad.
So he gave you an ice cream scoop of both.
Gave me a scoop of both, and I went with the egg salad. It was excellent, and it was just so good and so fun. So we really like that. We highly recommend the 2nd Avenue Deli in New York, and then Little Italy.
Yeah, Little Italy. Kelly knew of a place. Pisano's?
Well, that's the thing. It was a screw up.
That place was great.
It was really great. It was a happy screw up. A few years ago, I took my niece Riley to Little Italy, and based on the recommendation of the bellhop or whatever at our hotel, which they get a little grease, for telling you where to go. They get a kickback.
Referring you where to go, yeah.
So we didn't know any better. So we went to his recommendation, and it was fine. It was good. It was good. But on the way, we were walking back because we'd figured out the subway system. We passed by this other Italian restaurant, and the owner or the manager was out in the street, and he started serenading me. And he was like, just singing to me. I was like, I don't even know what that means, but he says, it means you're beautiful. I was like, okay. So he took us in the restaurant because I told him, I said, we've already eaten. He's like, well, next time you come back, I want you to come in. He gave us a tour of the restaurant. I'm like, I'm coming back. Well, I couldn't remember the name of the restaurant. So I went online and I tried to, based on pictures and stuff, I said, I think this is it. And I booked a reservation at Pisano's on Mulberry. Mm-hmm. I could have sworn this was the right restaurant until we got there and realized it was the wrong restaurant. But it was an excellent mistake because you said...
That place was... I ordered a steak, an Italian steak, and it had a red sauce on it. Not a marinara sauce, but a red sauce. It was the best steak I think I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I had a steak with an Italian-style steak, and then I had a side of spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh, dude. I don't know why you were doing that.
I think we had a salad. Did we have a salad? Yeah, I think we had a salad.
You did. You always get super salad.
Oh, my gosh. It was so good.
And we split a bottle of Chianti.
Yeah, Chianti, and then everyone was making the joke. I ate his liver with fava beans and Chianti.
Yeah, Chianti. But it was really great, so we recommend Pisano's on Mulberry as well.
And that was fun. We had to take
everybody that waited on us, so awesome.
So nice, yeah. We took a cab down there. Because that was too far to walk.
Oh, gosh. And we would have walked around Little Italy, which is connected right there to, to Canal and all the, Chinatown and stuff. But it was just too cold. So we literally went and ate and went back to the room, which, by the way, we got the room from hell. It was awful. The paper thin walls.
Are we going to talk about that?
I don't know.
Do we want to?
I don't want to hear people be negative.
Yeah,
But it was just paper thin walls with
that was
two
tough.
Babies in the room next door. Nothing, I've traveled with a child, you can't help it. But the parents were loud. They did nothing to quiet the children. You could just hear them just, na, 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 na. The water pipes in the walls were so loud. It was just awful.
What was strange? Okay, here's the last thing I'm going to say about that. Last thing I'm going to say about the hotel is it was strange. It was a strange room because it was literally 0 degrees outside. And I felt like I had to walk around the hotel room nude.
It was so hot.
Because it had to be 85 degrees in there, and you couldn't adjust the temperature.
No, we tried turning on
There was no way to adjust the temperature.
Couldn't. So we turned it off, completely off, and it was still blowing
And then it was
air.
like sitting in a sauna.
So we won't do that again. But anyway, that's the only negative thing.
Yeah, that was the only negative thing.
And then the other thing we had on our list was Freedom Tower.
Let's talk about Freedom Tower and that 9/11 memorial.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
This really shocked the 9/11 memorial. If you haven't been, I had a problem going for a while after 9/11 because it's been how many years? 16.
16, yeah.
When it happened, we were on the radio when it happened, and I just still remember just the shock and the horror and the fear and the sadness and seeing the people, leap from the building. Like that was their only alternate. It was just awful. And so I haven't been to the 9/11 in Freedom Tower until this year with you. You said you really wanted to go. I said, okay, I'll go with you. And it was really interesting, the footprints of the building, because I remember, because I'd been to New York before, these buildings were so massive. And to see their footprints of where they were on the ground, it doesn't seem that big.
Now, see, I thought they were big.
It didn't seem that big to me.
Yeah.
But they it was deep, and in the footprint they have fountains, which they had turned off because the wind was so bad. But around the perimeter of each of these towers' footprints are the names engraved very deeply of everyone who died that day.
And then every day the people or the whoever runs the memorial, they come out and they put a white flower a white rose on the person's name if it's their birthday that day.
Right.
So we saw several of that. Yeah.
And then there were a lot of paper flowers put, and I don't know if that's just family members who had been and found their relative. I don't know what the significance behind the paper flowers were. The white roses are in honor of the birthdays that day. A little unsettling to see. You look to one side and you see people weeping because it's emotional. And then you look to your right and there would be a family, gather around, come on, let's get our selfie.
That was really strange.
Sitting on top of the memorial where people's names are engraved that died. And they're taking pictures like this is the best and funnest tourist attraction. It's really unsettling. I didn't like that.
I saw a family of, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 people
with a selfie stick.
And and they had a selfie stick, and they're like almost
sitting on the memorial,
like leaning on it. And
I don't know.
It was a little. That was
a little
strange,
unsettling.
But do you want?
But this is also the side of where we had the incident, my falling incident.
Yeah, Kellie fell.
I face planted.
Kellie fell. And
I knee planted, then face planted.
She fell as we were walking up to the 9/11 memorial, and we actually posted a video last night.
Oh my gosh, y'all!
On her, it's on all of our social media, so you can go out there and see what it looked like.
Go look at it if you haven't seen it. I mean, when I fell, I was embarrassed. I was shocked. I didn't know what had happened. I'm like, how did that happen?
You were stunned.
You can tell it again real quick, but after it happened, I was just, I couldn't shake this. I felt so stupid. And then Alan, I was like, how did I look? Did I look as stupid as I felt?
Yes.
And Alan's like, it was pretty bad. I said, can you show me how I fell? He's like, yeah, I'll show you. So I put it out of my mind because I knew later when we got back to our fabulous hotel room, he was going to recreate it. And Alan recreated the fall for me when we got back to the room. And I was like, that's exactly what I remember feeling. So that's what I look like. So now I know what I look like.
We were walking up to the memorial arm in arm. And I told this on the video we did, but I'll tell it again real quick. I looked to my left. There's a little tiny sign. It's like one of those keep off the grass size signs.
Insignificant.
Yeah, maybe 6 inches wide. And I could barely read it, but I could see it said, watch your step. So I was going to say, Kellie, watch. And right as I said, she's on the ground. The ground.
It was the weirdest sensation. I tripped. And I'm like, I'm falling. And I could feel myself falling. And I landed on both my knees. But then I kept falling.
She kept going.
I was like perpetual motion. I couldn't stop myself. I landed on my chin on the ground, and then when I came up, there was a bar above my head.
She
and I
bumped
hit the
her
back
head
of
on
my
that.
head.
Yeah.
And I just looked up at Al, and I was like, "What happened?" It was awful.
Yeah.
But I promised when I told the story on the radio, I said I need to get Alan to recreate it because he does it perfectly. So last night we were getting ready for bed, and I said, "All right, Alan, we got to do this video. I promised, and I don't like to break promises if I can help it, and sometimes you can't help it." So I said, this could either be funny or it could be meh, but we got to do it. So we did it, and we could not stop laughing.
Well, you couldn't stop laughing, okay. And I think that's what makes the video really funny is because you're laughing.
Well, you were fine not laughing during the video. After we went to bed, we lay in bed, and we could not stop laughing. We curl up, and we start to go to sleep, and then suddenly we start laughing again.
It was just so stupid.
It was so stupid.
And I think why it was so stupid was because Kellie, I don't know why last night I decided to do this. Kellie bought me some Star Wars pajamas for Christmas.
You put them on because all the kids had on their onesies.
Yeah, all the kids had their onesies on.
They got for Christmas.
So I was participating in some of that buffoonery.
It was onesie night.
Yeah, so imagine the type of pajamas that your 6-year-old son wears. You know, they're long sleeve, long pants, tapered pants, and both.
It's like long johns.
Yeah, the pants and the shirt match. So I had those on, and then I had what I call my Nanook of the North hat. It's the Cousin Eddie hat.
You were wearing that when I fell.
Yeah, because Kellie was wearing. So I had the Cousin Eddie hat along with the Star Wars pajamas, and then just the way your behind was in the air, but then your face was on the cement. I guess it was just. That's an image that'll always be burned into my mind.
So go see that if you want to see that. It's on all of our social media on on Facebook. I don't know if we linked it to our Instagram.
Yeah, just keep going. So, and then another thing we did was we saw a Broadway show. And Kelly got a lot of recommendations from friends, and we decided to see what, babe?
Well, everybody says go see Hamilton. Okay, well, if you have like a couple $1,000s lying around that you want to blow on a play, that's great.
Why is that so much?
Because it's just the hardest. Every year, there's one ticket that's just really hard to get, and this is Hamilton's time. Well, a few years ago, that used to be the case with a play called Kinky Boots, where you couldn't get in. It would have cost you thousands of dollars. And Broadway's not cheap. And I could have gone. I didn't want to go stand in line at the. Everybody's like, go stand in line at the tickets outlet, and I'm like, no, I'm doing it online. I'm not doing that. So it was still a couple $100 each for those tickets.
I mean, it still wasn't cheap.
It was not cheap. But you go to New York, you'd never been to Broadway.
No, I had.
Oh, you had, but it was to Wicked.
Yeah, I saw Wicked.
That's right.
But
we'd never done it together.
We'd never been together.
So after several recommendations, in fact, Todrick Hall, who was once in Kinky Boots, he's now doing Chicago. I was talking to him about it. He's like, go see Kinky Boots. It's really great. So we went to see Kinky Boots, and it was fun. It's basically a drag show with a message, right?
Yeah,
I've never been to a drag show.
I had no idea. No, I've never been to a drag show, but I had no idea that's what it was going to be about.
Yeah, it was a drag show with a message. It was written by Cyndi Lauper with Firestein, not Fire. I can't. All I can think of is Harvey Weinstein right now.
Whoa.
Firestein, whatever. Anyway,
Harvey Firestone. Who is Harvey Firestone?
Weinstein.
How about Andrew Firestone? You know who that is?
No, he was the Bachelor.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't remember, but anyway, it's really good. It was good. There's a lot of things I'd like to go back and see, and when we take
Kinky
the kids,
Boots was great.
Kinky Boots was great.
It had a good message.
It was. It's just, you know what? You know what I got out of that?
You do you.
You do you.
You be you.
I'll do me.
And that's what you told me was going to be.
That's going to be
not giving too much away,
my
but
mantra.
Hey, you told me that was going to be your mantra in 2018.
For 2018 is I'm just going to do me.
Kelly going to do Kelly.
Because, I think you can look around at other people. You can compare yourself to other people in different ways, bodies, careers, social media accounts, Facebook. But you can compare yourself and you can feel better than this person. You can feel worse than this person. You can feel competitive with this person. It's not a healthy way to be. So I've decided this year I'm just going to do me. I'm going to do the best I can at what I can do and not compare myself to anybody else. That's my goal.
Why do you need to? Why are you doing that? When do you do that? I don't really know that
you hear me.
Well,
you hear me.
You just do you.
I'm just going to do me. So that's beside the point. We haven't gotten to our bucket list stuff. So basically, that was New York in a nutshell. We did our bucket list in New York City the last night we were there.
But are we going to talk about this on this episode?
Well, I don't have to, but we can save it. But our waiter that night had us because we were leaving the next day. And snow was coming, and he was like, girl, you got to get to the airport hours early. And we did. We got there 5 hours early.
We were there way too early because we had a 1 o'clock flight. I think we left the hotel at 9 a.m.
We didn't know what the weather was going to be. We didn't know traffic was going to be. And we figured we can either sit in this crappy hotel room we hate, or we can go sit in the airport and eat at a restaurant and have coffee or whatever. And that's what we chose to do.
I'd always rather be early.
We were really early, and then the plane was delayed because of snow. But we were sitting on the runway, and I got to watch 2 whole movies on the flight.
What did you watch again?
I finally got to watch Girls Trip with Jada Pinkett Smith and Queen Latifah and Tiffany Haddish. And, this was it was a good movie. I'm going to tell you this. But it fell victim to that thing where people had built it up and hyped it up to me so much that I thought it was good, but I wasn't like, oh, my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen. It fell victim to that. But then I also got to see Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron, who I've had a girl crush on for a hot minute.
She's pretty hot.
And, she's so beautiful. She's so stunningly gorgeous.
Charlize Theron?
Years ago,
you seen her in Monster?
I didn't, but I'm telling you,
was crazy.
See her in this movie. She should have gotten 50 Oscars for Monster because that was a transformation. I've seen pictures, but I didn't see Monster. Years and years and years ago, when Charlize Theron first went to Hollywood, I was in the same. It was Blockbuster Entertainment Awards or something. She was just starting out, and I was in the same room with her. And I was like, "Oh, there's Charlize Theron." She kept to herself. She was really quiet. She was just starting out in Hollywood, and I was like,
"Oh wow!"
I was that close to Charlize Theron, and didn't know what I had at the time.
No kidding.
But man, she's gorgeous. In
What was the name of that
Blonde.
other one? The Jada Pinkett Smith you saw?
Girls Trip?
Girls Trip. I watched 2 also because we had that much time. I watched
Not
like
a lot of time.
Planet of the Apes 3.
What'd you think?
It was lame. And then it was okay. And then I watched It because I hadn't seen It, the new one. Not scary. And I'm the biggest chicken in scary movies. It really wasn't that scary.
Yeah. Well, maybe being on a plane.
Maybe that's why.
And not in a dark theater.
Yeah.
And you've got, it's light. And you've got me sitting next to you.
I just thought it was silly. Like the
it
clown.
probably makes a difference.
When he was chasing the people or the kids, just I don't know, just the way he ran, it was just like that looks really fake. Yeah. So I don't know. It was okay. I wasn't too satisfied with either one, but hey, it passed the time. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that's what we did on the plane. But we do want to get into the bucket list. I don't know if we're going to share it. Do we?
No, I don't think so. What's our time?
Let me see.
We're gonna produce on the fly here.
It's about 40 minutes.
No,
I'm really
I think we
tired.
should save that. We're gonna tease this for a next podcast.
Let me just say, I've had getting back in the swing of things. It's been really hard. I took a 2-hour nap.
Kelly
today.
was like,
I
you know
was
how I
out of
used to
it.
be bushed. Kelly was bushed.
I came home and I took a nap and I passed out. I had the worst nightmares, so it wasn't a very restful nap.
Babe, you know what we haven't, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you know what we haven't talked about is our all these vitamins we're taking. Do we want to talk about that real quick? Or, no, let's save that. We're going to save, because that's a good story.
We're doing something together.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you need to write that down first.
Yeah, we're going to write, because that's really good stuff, and it's good advice, and I'm looking at our bucket list right here, and for those of you who are not on the video and are just listening to the podcast, we have a little red book, and we wrote our bucket list in it last year, and we wrote our 2018 bucket list on the next page. So I've got about 16. Kelly has about 15. So I think we'll go through the bucket list and the vitamins next time.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We kind of got screwed up because I do need to go to bed, honey. I need my beauty rest, obviously.
Kelly needs your beauty rest and
getting back on track. And plus, Dr. Pimple Popper's on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I want to see that.
Alan subscribes to or follows Dr. Pimple Popper, and every once in a while, I'll peek over his shoulder. And I don't know how it gets to that point. How does anyone's pimple get to that point? I guess you're told not to mess with it, but some people should mess with it.
But a lot of what she takes out, they're more than just
They're
zits.
infected.
They're lipomas. I mean, there's like this one dude had like a grapefruit-sized cyst on the back of his neck.
How does it get that big before you do something about it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Maybe you wake up one morning and it just suddenly was there. That could happen.
Well,
maybe.
it's like we had 600-pound life on tonight. It's like, how do you get to that?
Oh, these shows are addictive.
Oh gosh,
it's crazy. What people Oh wow. Okay.
What?
We got to go. We got to go watch Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh, okay. All right.
But hey, listen, there's another thing we want you to do besides joining us for another edition of A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. We want you to go to check out kellyandalan.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a website that Alan created for me as like a surprise when he proposed last year, just so we could kind of follow along with the wedding planning and with, tell our story with the engagement. But we've decided to make that a little bit more interactive, to go in, hand in hand with the podcast. So we can do contests and things like that and share feedback and find out what you want more of and let you know what we've got going on. So as of last night, we launched our blogs.
Yeah, we both have a blog. I've never blogged before. Kelly's blogged.
I used to blog a lot. I don't blog quite as much as I used to, but I'm going to get back in the groove.
And Kelly's is called Kelly's Ink, and mine is called Alan's Ink.
Based on your tattoo.
Yeah, but then Kelly's based on
just I write with ink.
Typing or writing. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's what we called it. So anyway, if you go to kellyandalan.com and there's a place, Meet Alan, Meet Kelly.
About Kelly and
about
about
Kelly.
Alan.
I don't know why I keep saying meet.
Up at the top of the screen.
About Kelly and about Alan. Just click on that. It'll take you to our blogs. And there's also a section there where you can leave comments. And if there's anything you want us to talk about in future podcasts, there's a place there. Sometimes I do some speaking events and things like that, or emceeing events. If there's anything you need to know or ask or want to see, you can find it at kellyandalan.com.
Yeah, and like Kelly said, some of you email me or post on A Sandwich and Some Lovin's Facebook page, hey, I'm interested in advertising with you guys, or I'd like Kelly to do a speaking engagement, or I'd like her to do an appearance. You can go there, and there's a contact form, And I'll get all of those messages, and we can talk more if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because Alan hasn't given me the password. He doesn't trust me. I don't know how to get the messages.
What are you talking about? That's not true.
I don't know how to get any messages. I tried to get them, and it wouldn't work. It's very confusing. But if you leave a comment right there on the page, I can see that.
Yeah.
Emails, I don't know if I'll ever see those.
Okay. Well, let's finish this up, babe.
All right, this is fun. It was really, it was just a welcome, getting our feet wet, dipping back in 2018. But next time, we're going to go over, if you remember a couple of podcasts ago, we talked about our blood date when Alan and I went and had our blood taken together. Mm-hmm. Well, this was the end result of our blood date. We got pellets in our haunches.
Yep.
And we're going to tell you about that. We're also going to talk about our bucket list for 2018. We don't do resolutions. We do bucket lists of things we want to accomplish in the year, and that's what we're going to talk about. And some other fun stuff.
That's right.
And the next is Sandwich and Some Lovin'.
And this is going to be a big year. I'm telling you guys, we appreciate all your support in the last year, but I have a good feeling about 2018. I think this is going to be a big year for the podcast. And
a big year for our marriage.
A big year for the marriage, and we hope it's a big year for you too.
For everybody.
So we appreciate you all following us along. And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich.